All right, this is a video around how I grew over 140K followers on Instagram, and I did not do any paid ads. I did not engage with anyone every day. I did not use 30 hashtags. I was not posting at any certain times, and I don't even upload every day. Right? So, moving forward, let's talk about some fruits of labor. Essentially, when I was building my personal brand, I only had the idea that I just want to build my agency, but I didn't know that I'll do tens of things, right? So last year we did in-person meetups here in Pune and Mumbai. Of course, I got clients for the agency. I still do. My personal brand is the biggest source of client acquisition for my agency. I've done one TEDx talk. I have gotten about 6 or 7 invites till now. College invites, I've been invited to the biggest colleges in India for cultural, technical, all of those events. I actually got event invites from around the world. I have been invited to Turkey, uh, Europe, and then Dubai, and also being asked to join creator trips to other countries, right? And I've done workshops. I've done 2 workshops until now. I've sold my products. The recorded workshops were sold as products. Right now, I have my own community. We have done Journey Club retreat. This is my venture with Akshat, and we're gonna have big news about it soon. This brand is now a testing ground for me. I can do whatever I want on this account, and it will always help me out. Essentially, if we tie it all together, it has helped me build a full-fledged business from the entire brand. Now, these are some of the aspects that people actually do not see. Okay, so firstly, this will be the video that you would need to build your brand with utmost clarity, because most people are not clear, right? So let's start with the usual advice that everyone gives, right? People tell you that you should engage every day, you should spend 30-40 minutes commenting on other people's posts. People say that you should send correction messages. I mean, it used to work. I would say that this is the only thing that might work. They say that you should use hashtag strategies. Doesn't work. I never use hashtags. You should upload at certain times. Doesn't really work. You have to upload every day. Even I don't upload every day. I get my clients to do that, but because I have a brand already thought after, I don't have to upload every day, right? And then leave comments on posts of top creators. Like the only thing that you can get from that is just a bit of clout in terms of likes on your comments. That's it, right? So let's say if you are at 0 followers and you want to actually grow your personal brand, what is it that you should be doing? Going from absolute scratch to building, let's say, a small community of 5-10 people who are the ones that will engage with your content, will uh, be the source of your content being pushed out. You do that by joining a lot of communities. The first few hundred followers I got that from being in a lot of online communities, whether it was through Facebook or it was through Discord. I did that. And then along with this, you actually have to post great content. Just having a page with random spam posts and then getting 100 followers, it's not going to do anything. If you want to build your brand, you have to post good content and then engage with your online friends only. So let's say if you find 10, 15, 20 of these people, consistently just engage with them. You do not need to go any further, right? You reshare their content and have them reshare yours. This favor goes a long way when it comes to going from absolute scratch to moving forward, because going from 0 to 100 to 1000 followers, it's still the toughest part of this journey, because you do not have data. Let's say you made an insanely good content piece, but because you do not have followers, your content piece did not get initial traction, and then it was just not pushed to other non-followers. Probably the biggest issue that people have when they are building their personal brand is they actually do not know what good content quality is, because they do not have prior experience. According to them, uploading videos in 360p, uploading low quality content, having no proper sound, uh, and audio quality, doing bullshit graphics, etc. Like according to them, that is good content because they believe it is. They just want to stay in their delusion. You have to be deluded about the wrong things. That's where you mess up a lot of things, right? If you are not doing that, it is a good indication that you will go further, because probably the biggest indication in terms of a new account with no prior experience who actually builds great content is they study what good content actually is. We'll talk about it more. And then because you have wrong expectations, you believe that you have posted the best content piece, but it's really not. It's just you thinking that it is, right? Because you have wrong expectations, you expect the wrong things from your content, then you see other people getting great results. It's just the main reason why people are prone to quit this entire journey. So I'll give you a complete walkthrough around how I did it, going from the initial 5 800 followers to uh, scaling this upwards of 140K, right? Firstly, you have to define brand pillars. Every personal brand on Instagram, this is just being Instagram specific, they have five main pillars to their entire personal brand. Number one is storytelling. Number two is expertise. Number three is experience. Number four is other interests. And number five is lifestyle. Storytelling being pretty much about anything that you want to talk about. Expertise is the part where what is it that you are good at. You can't just post random shit and then expect people to uh, you know take you as authority. Even for example, creative content creators, for example, people who build art, or people who are dancing, doing break dance, right? People who are doing calisthenics, etc. That's their expertise, right? And then the experience, it's about how much time that you have put in this industry. If you're a complete beginner, you certainly won't be able to build this straight away, but of course you will have this, right? Then it's like other interests. What is it apart from, let's say if you're a video editor, what is it that you do aside from this? And then it's just the lifestyle. So all the best brands that you see on Instagram are one or the other combination of this main thing, right? Let's take Tom Noski for example. He tells a lot of stories consistently about how he did something, or how some of his connections did something. Then he shows his expertise by consistently sharing results of people from his communities, and then the results that he has gotten. Then experience being about him selling digital products, being a cinematographer, and then building his online business. Other interests being fitness, like drinking beer, and then uh, training for triathlon, stuff like this. And then just his lifestyle, right? He recently got engaged, I believe. So posting about that, posting about some things that you want to do. You can take any of these five pillars and you will have a proper breakdown of any brand pillars. Let's take my brand for example. Storytelling is about my agency, martial arts, and personal experiences about about being a freelancer, and then also being a college student, etc. My expertise comes in when I'm talking about agencies or personal branding or freelancing, or for example journey club, right? My experience comes in the form of my journey in of being a freelancer, me doing that a previous agency job at AOS Media, right? Me being a creator myself, and then now being an agency owner. My other interest being, let's say, football, personal stuff, like being talking more about jiu-jitsu, etc. And then lifestyle that I have, right? Peop Even you take the brands that are hyper niched, they all do combinations of these things. They have these combinations, and then they own their own narrative. Take Anik for example. He basically lives and breathes design, but he has all of these five in his own content as well, right? Those hyper niche people are sharing other case studies that's showing their expertise and experience. And then the above, right? Everyone is doing it. So how is it that they are able to do it at such high levels where most people do not? Firstly, they are testing point of views, right? You have to define the positioning that you want to showcase within most of the content pieces that you do. Are you an experimenter, right? So if are you trying things for yourself? Are you doing this, making $5,000 in 30 days challenge, something like this? So you're an experimenter. Are you sharing case studies? Are you talking about your client results? Are you talking about your own journey, right? Or how you got a certain outcome? That's you being an observer. Then the frame of an expert, right? you doing that one thing yourself, right? What is that point of view that you are taking with every content piece, right? I do the experimenter and expert approach on why Saksham always, right? Then you just test out content formats. If it's written on graphic, you post carousels, you post single images, you post b-roll reels where it's just text with a bunch of b-rolls, right? If you want to do video content, you do A-roll videos. For example, it's when I am talking to the camera like this, right? You do A-roll videos, you do voiceovers, you do remix or reactions, right? Test out these and these. And then one thing that you should always only be doing if you are starting from absolute scratch is you learn from the best. Whatever point of view, pillar, format you choose, there is someone in the exact space that you're in who's absolutely killing it, right? And then what you have to do is you just model whatever they are doing. Maybe their filming style, maybe their fonts, editing, music, presentation, copywriting, right? There is no definitive breakdown. You have to break these things down yourself. Some breakdowns that I might do, it might not be parallel to what you to what you might do, right? Let's say 80% of the things that I break down in anyone's content, you can do that too, but 20% is because of me, right? So you do that as well. Whatever the best creators, that the creators that you get inspired by, whatever they are doing, you model that in your own way. And then the next step is the most important one. It's ruthless creation. You create as much content as you humanly can, right? In the starting parts of your journey, no one is there to judge you. It means that you can get away with posting bad content even according to your standards, right? Just post whatever you want. Get over that barrier of not being comfortable to share your opinions, not being comfortable to show your face, not being comfortable of uh, talking to the camera, putting your voice into content. Get rid of these barriers as soon as possible, because let's say if one of your content piece goes viral, you gain a good amount of audience, and you're still not comfortable talking to the camera and presenting your content in the best way, it means that you um, got that result by fluke, and then people will leave your content eventually because you're not as good as they expected it to be, right? You do it all, right? Whatever you want to do, you just post everything in high volume and in good quality. Do not be deluded. High quality content on Instagram has good video quality, has great sound, is not overly edited, and it's not, if memes is the way that you want to do it, it's all fine. But there are some, some standards that make a good video. Otherwise, videos just get ruined, right? Next one is like how you did breakdowns of other people's content. You break down your own content till you cannot. For example, whenever you put out content, give it some time to perform. So let's say you put out 5 videos this week. uh, you wait for an extra week, and then the week after that you analyze the performance, right? You analyze the performance then, and then be specific about why certain content pieces did well, some content pieces did not do well. Let's say you received 2 comments on one, and then you received 50 comments on one. Why did it happen? Derive your own reasons. Any reason that you can find, whether it's positive or negative, break every reason down. You should know exactly what's going on your personal brand at all times. And this is where people have no clue what's going on, right? You can get ahead of people by knowing all of the things about your personal brand that they do not, right? And then you find patterns. If you are really creating well, you will have a pattern of content that works and the content that doesn't. All right. So, for example, for my content, I have 2 to 3 videos in around every 12 videos that perform exceptionally well. Right. So, let's say 10 videos got me a combined 1,000 followers. The 2 to 3 videos that I will have, they will give me a combined 5 to 8,000 followers or even 10,000 followers per video. Right. That has happened and that still happens. So, I found that pattern myself. So now my job becomes that, okay, if I want to achieve a certain amount of growth, this is the volume that I have to put out. And then after that, once I get make peace with, okay, this is the volume that I want to put out, I consciously try to create better videos so I could decrease that number. So let's say if three videos out of 10, out of 12 were performing well before. I want three videos out of 10 or out of 9, right? I want to increase the percentage of getting it right more. And then essentially pretty much anything in business and then anything in personal brand like content creation, any of it, do less of what doesn't work and more of what does. But people stay deluded and they think that something that did not work, they just want to stick with that, but not gonna work. So you do more of what works, because on social media momentum is rewarded really well, right? Momentum being, let's say you have been posting consistently for 3 months, you will build up a certain amount of engagement. And if you do not post in the fourth month, that momentum that you build will be gone. So let's say if you, before starting to post consistently, you were getting 50 likes, but then after posting for 3 months, you are now consistently getting, let's say, 250 likes. You don't post for another month, and then your engagement will go back to the usual one. So social media rewards momentum. When you do all of these properly, you build momentum. You need to double down on quality and volume once you see the momentum growing. And momentum usually grows, and it's actually felt in terms of getting more views or getting more likes or getting more comments. So for example, for me, if I do book videos, create series videos, I do voiceovers of personal stories, I do some sort of b-roll trends, I know that these content pieces will build momentum, so I do more of it. And then you clearly define the metrics that are of value. How many likes for your account on a content piece is great? How many views is great? For example, if I get anywhere above, let's say, 50 to 60K views on a video, that means that that video has anywhere around 2 to 3,000 likes, which is good. And that's the range that I ideally want to be in, right? Set those as checkpoints. Let's say if a video of mine receives 1,500 likes instead of 3K, that's me taking that as a bad data set, and then I take my learnings from it, and then I try again to make content pieces that will get the certain amount of likes, and then define those performance based on those checkpoints. You do that, and you create momentum on your content by creating better content. So you have to own your own way. In the game of personal branding or in business in general, you do not want to be just another brand. You want to be unique. For example, the content that I'm creating, personal branding, uh, freelancing journey, etc., jujutsu, no one in my space does it, right? So I do not even have to separate myself. I'm already separated from anyone in the entire space that I'm in. And no one is attaching personal stories in every single video of theirs. I have a personal story in pretty much all of the videos that I make, right? You can go through my content again, and my content is all about just telling stories. That's me owning my own way. And my way is documentation and showcasing. Every good personal brand has their own way to create content. Some do it through great cinematography, storytelling, editing, personality speaking, endless. There are endless ways to do it. They all have preferred methods of presentation, creation, and ideation. Some people are incredible writers. Take Zach Pogra, for example. He does voiceovers and carousels. That's what performs well, the best for him. And then he makes YouTube videos where he wants his small cult like audience. So you have to know what is your way of doing content, and that only happens when you post a lot of content. You have to find out your own way through volume. For example, in my case, it's documentation of my journey, it's showcasing what I have done, it's bringing a mix of video creation, copywriting, and presentation, right? I am not exceptional at any of these. I do not have the best looking aesthetic setup. I do not have, the best editing, but the mold that I have with my own content, that's ideally what I would want, right? And I stay strong on how I create content. People get very fancy setups, people get very aesthetic backgrounds, etc. When they are creating content, I can do it whenever I want. I just don't want to do it, because when it's time, I will do it. But right now, the place that I'm in, the part of the journey where I am in, I've decided that okay, I just want to create content with whatever I have, and I will do that, and I will stay strong on this. While doing all of this, I'm always improving my copywriting, presentation, speaking, b-rolls, and footage. I'm always taking feedback from my team. Guys, what is it that I can do better to improve my content quality overall? I'm always seeking feedback. Sorry. So once you decide, okay, what is your way of doing it, You have to stay strong on values, right? Brands don't sustain or they lose their attraction only because they can't maintain strong values, right? For example, I've said this several times. Hamza is someone that I used to watch here and there. I used to like him as a person, but I was not the fan of watching his, like, 1 hour videos and stuff. I've never done it. So the most amount of content that I've consumed from Hamza is like 5 6 minutes at once. So I was like, okay, this is a good YouTuber, and this is a creator that I would want to watch here and there. But then once he went into his fighter arc and then he backed out of it, uh, that's where the values were not maintained, and I was like, okay, I'm just not gonna watch Hamza from now. Okay, so yeah, so you have to maintain strong values, because strong values is where it will you know build your own super fans audience, right? You need to define your message. What are the things that you will debate about alone versus the world? So for me, it's like, okay, you have to be athletic, you have to push mentally and physically, you have to be healthy. I mean, I just coughed because I was recovering from sickness, but in general, you have to be healthy, right? If you're not, if you're neglecting your fitness just in the proxy of you know that I'm working hard in your work, you are delusional. You are fucking ruining your longevity in terms of work. The aim is not to play the game for 5 years and then just fuck off. The aim is to keep on playing this game for decades to come, right? You're spending on yourself. I am buying stuff here and there, and I like it. You're investing in yourself, spending thousands of dollars in courses, etc. And you're constantly learning. You're a leader. You do things with leadership, etc. These are the values that I stay strong on, and every content piece I make, I do not falter from any of these. This will create some polarization on your brand. People will unfollow you. I have about 350 to 400 people unfollowing me every day, and I don't mind, because I know that the people that are there, those are the people I would want on my profile, right? Polarization is where people are either like, I don't like you, and people are like, I absolutely love what you do. Okay, so that's how you build some polarization on your account, because in the long term, you do not want people who are just like, yeah, I know this person. You want people to be like, I absolutely stand with this guy, and I will do anything to stand here. And or people are like, fuck him, fuck him, fuck him, right? You want that, and that's what I'm building towards. So to be able to do this with longevity, right? It's like taking care of your health. You have a schedule, you have workout routines, you have diet plans. Just like it, not every creator has the capacity to post every day. Some people do, some people do not. Some people post twice a month. I mean, I don't, uh, I'm not a fan of doing that less, but you know, that's what some people do. Some people approach this journey as artists, some do it as engineers, and some bring a blend of both. There are positives and negatives to everything. If you approach this as an artist, your volume will go down, and then, of course, lesser volume, lesser data, all of it. If you do it purely as an engineer, you're putting out quality, the content which is not at the highest quality that you would. And then some people bring a blend of both. Now, there are positives and negatives to both, right? Like I said, although the positives of being an engineer and then approaching as an engineer is more rewarding, and this might sound contradictory. Okay, before we go there, so to break down the engineer versus artist approach, engineers are the people who are optimizing for volume. So they are optimizing to be able to stick to their schedule. So let's say out of 5 or 6 videos that they post a week, they will make 2 or 3 videos at really good quality, and 2 or 3 videos at the quality that is just meant to keep the volume going. And then over time, they'll raise the base level. That's my approach of doing it. And I love doing this approach, because in this manner, I do not have to waste too much time on content, and I can still up the quality over time. Now, when it comes to ideating content, this is where most people get stuck. It's because either they overthink themselves into not posting content, or they ideate the wrong way. So let's say if we are talking about a schedule in general, it might sound contradictory because people say you need to create more, consume less. According to that approach, this will be contradictory. You actually need to ideate 80% of the time and you need to create 20% of the times. Because ideally, creation should not take a lot of your time. I used to film one video in 30 minutes. One 30-second video used to take me 30 minutes to film before. But now I can do 8, 9 videos in 30 minutes. Easy, right? So for me, it's like, okay, per week, let's say if I'm spending 10 hours on my own content, I will ideate for 8 hours and then I will spend 2 hours filming B-rolls and filming my own content. And that way, I just created a huge amount of content piece in 10 hours, right? The problem statement for me has now become, okay, how do I ideate better content? Because I know personally I have went through all of those mental barriers of not posting or finding reasons to not post, and right now it's all about how do I create better content, right? So you do that by putting out content in the beginning that is not of your highest standards, because because your skills haven't caught up to that standard. I take inspiration from Noah's Ark, but the way that he films content, I am nowhere near. I am nowhere near the horizon of being able to film that quality of content because I know that I'm not going to be the best cinematographer out there. I will need help. So I do whatever is the best in my own schedule and flexibility. And you have to learn through numbers. The amount of content that you put out, you learn through that. You have to find a schedule for yourself. None of the schedules are ideal. Let's say initially, if you spend 50% of time ideating and 50% time creating, you do that. But ideally, optimize for a time where you are doing a lot of thought work, you are doing data analysis, you are researching, etc. And then you take a very small chunk of time to create the content. So define your weekly schedule by the times you spend on ideation, by the time you spend on creation, and the time you spend on learning. For me, creation takes, like I said, about 2 hours a week max. In 2 hours a week, I can create content for about 2 weeks easily. And then to be able to do that, I have to ideate for at least 5 to 6 hours or even above that. So that's something I know. And this is how I prioritize my own schedule. And then every day I'm spending an hour, 30 minutes here and there to just learn about content creation in general. And then you have strict boundaries with each. Let's say you did not ideate enough, but it's time for creation. So even if you can't create 10 videos like you usually would according to your schedule, just go and create 5. Do not give yourself reasons to not create content, because once you start putting out volume, there will be times when you grow and there will be times when you do not. And the hardest parts about being a creator that has gained momentum, it's dealing with growth stints. What I mean by growth stints is, it's like you will have times when you will grow crazy amount, and then it's because one content piece can change your entire life. For me, it's still that video last year that I made about how I quit engineering. I did not go for any engineering job because of freelancing in 2 years, and this is how 3 books helped me out. That video still changed my life. And then there will be times when growth will stop out of nowhere, because whenever your growth stops on social media, it's a direct indication that you just have to level up. I personally got stuck at 85K followers for months. I was stuck at 94K followers for a month, 103K followers for a month, 108K followers for a month, for months, not just a month, for months. I was stuck at 118, 119K followers for months again. And then each time it took me a lot more volume and a big improvement in quality of content to grow again. That's my way of doing it. People have grown to 600, 700K followers, millions of followers without dealing with any growth stints. But all of the creators suffer, and all of the creators have these phases of not growing. Any creator you see out there have these growth stints. Even Mr. Beast is going through it right now, right? So you have to find your own way. Like I said in the beginning, you do not idealize any creator's way of growth, right? I have 143K followers. Someone with 500K followers might tell you something different. Each person finds their own. You do not have to idolize their way of growth, but you can idolize the way that they are doing their content. You're not going to get the same results, even if you copy and paste from your inspiration, just because you as a person is different, right? And then in the grand scheme, I would rather be a creator with 140K followers, making more money with his agency and being better at skills, than have 300K followers and not having any of those with lesser skills. Because at the end of the day, content creation is a marathon. Let's say someone is at 500K followers who I might CS competition. They are at 500k followers right now. Who knows where this, you know, this change in levels will be after a decade. Still, if you do not start in personal branding as soon as possible, you will miss out. And then just get one thing right, like we discussed earlier around how any niche personal brand or any personal brand have their own defined content pillars. You can do it in an ultra niche way, plus you can do it in the way that I do or Tom Nosky does, right? Both approaches are right. You have to choose consciously around what you want to do with your own personal brand. My personal aim and approach is I want people to know my work because of me and not me because of my work, right? Maybe this thinking would change in the future, but this is my thinking right now, and it has been like this for the last 2 years. Some people go ultra niche and create content just on their expertise and they grow really well. Some people go ultra journal, they do everything and they grow. Some do both and grow, and that's me. Now it's like, okay, what is it that you're going to do, right? Define your brand pillars, test a lot of content, learn from the best in the industry, create ruthlessly, break down content and learn the parts about what makes your content scale up. Find the patterns within your content so you know what works and what doesn't work. You own your own way of presenting content. You have strong values. You have a schedule that is optimized for longevity. Okay, you deal with growth stints and you define your own way of growing. All right, that's how you build a personal brand, and that's how I grew a personal brand over 140k followers on Instagram. And this is the part where I plug what I do. If you are a service provider, or if you want to build a personal brand on Instagram and you also want to learn how to close high paying clients through cold outreach on Instagram, you can join my community, Expert Creator Blueprint. We have lifetime enrollments open still. When I start, the day I start working on version 2 of Expert Creator Blueprint, lifetime enrollments will be closed, and the people who get the version at that time, they will only have access to that. So if you join right now, you will have lifetime access to ECB. And yeah, this is how I did it. And now, yeah, you do however you want to do it. And ECB is where you can get in touch with me directly. All right, bye.